Otto Equiano, also known as Gustavus Vasa, was claimed to have been born in 1745 in Isaka, Igbo. He was a prominent African American involved in the British movement for the abolition of the slave trade. He was enslaved as a child, purchased his freedom, and worked as an author, merchant, and explorer in South America, the Caribbean, the Arctic, the American colonies, and the United Kingdom, where he settled by 1792. His autobiography, The Interesting Narrative of the Life of Olaudah Equiano, depicts the horrors of slavery and influenced the enactment of the Slave Trade Act of 1807. When I got to the office and acquainted the register with my errand, he congratulated me on the occasion and told me he would draw up my manumission for half price, which was a guinea. I thanked him for his kindness, and having received it and paid him, I hastened to my master to get him to sign it, that I might be fully released. Accordingly, he signed the manumission that day, so that, before night, I who had been a slave in the morning, trembling at the will of another, was become my own master and completely free. I thought this was the happiest day I had ever experienced, and my joy was still heightened by the blessings and prayers of many of the sable race, particularly the aged, to whom my heart had ever been attached with reverence.
Frederick Douglass was a prominent American abolitionist, author, and orator. Born a slave, Douglass escaped at age 20 and went on to become a world-renowned anti-slavery activist. His 3 autobiographies are considered important works of the slave narrative tradition as well as classics of American autobiography. Douglass's work as a reformer ranged from his abolition activities in the early 1840s to his attacks on Jim Crow and lynchings in the 1890s. For 16 years, he edited an influential black newspaper and achieved international fame as an inspiring and persuasive speaker and writer. In thousands of speeches and editorials, he levied a powerful indictment against slavery and racism, provided an indomitable voice of hope for his people, embraced anti-slavery politics, and preached his own brand of American ideals. Mr. Covey entered the stable with a long rope, and just as I was half out of the loft, he caught hold of my legs and was about tying me. As soon as I found what he was up to, I gave a sudden spring, and as I did so, he holding to my legs, I was brought sprawling on the stable floor. Mr. Covey seemed now to think he had me and could do what he pleased, but at this moment, from whence came the spirit I don't know, I resolved to fight. And suiting my action to the resolution, I seized Covey hard by the throat, and as I did so, I rose. He held on to me, and I to him. My resistance was so entirely unexpected that Covey seemed taken all aback. This battle with Mr. Covey was the turning point in my career as a slave. It rekindled the few expiring embers of freedom and revived within me a sense of my own manhood. It recalled the departed self-confidence and inspired me again with a determination to be free.
The Color Purple is a 1985 American period drama film directed by Steven Spielberg, based on a novel of the same name by Alice Walker. Taking place in the southern United States during the early 1900s to the late 1940s, the movie tells the life of a poor African-American woman named Celie Harris, whose abuse begins when she is young. By the time she is 14, she has already had 2 children by her father. He takes them away from her at childbirth and forces the young Celie to marry a wealthy young local widower, Albert Johnson, known to her only as Mr., who treats her like a slave. Albert makes her clean up his disorderly household and take care of his unruly children. Albert beats her often, intimidating Celie into submission and near silence. After years of physical and emotional abuse, Celie finally stood up for herself, and at that moment began her journey of becoming free.
Black. I may even be ugly, but dear God, I'm here. I'm here.
Celie Harris, Frederick Douglass, and Olaudah Equiano all were slaves. Each story tells about their life experiences and their journey to freedom, and all of which gave a first-hand look through the eyes of a slave.